They're guys. They do magic. They are the Magic Guys.
Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, we're in the flow of the show. Here we go. To my left, for episode 221, we got Nick K. I'm going to go that way.
Hi, I'm Nick K. And joining us this week also is Daddy Doug. Say what up, Daddy.
Look, I busted out the green lucite Mylar tipped magic wand for this episode. Let's not disappoint.
That gives me like Green Goblin vibes, or Ivy from Batman, or, you know, also from Batman.
This is a unique wand. Green lucite with Mylar tips.
Yeah, that's a great looking wand, man. I bet you it's perfectly weighted as well, because it's that sort of solid, like liquid all the way through, that's beautifully solidified.
One thing that's really important is if it strikes the noisy child properly.
Doesn't leave bruises on kids when they're heckling at a show. Of course, my friends, this is episode 221 of the Magic Guys. I'm Josh Norbito. I don't think I said it before, but who cares? This is the show where we, as professional magicians, share our lives as working pros, or shenanigans that go with it. Interview wonderful guests, and today we show you what we've got in our bags, which would be interesting to see what type of bags we carry too. We got some friends in the chat, Nick, who stopped by today. We
got some good friends. Gary Davis, good to see you, friend. Hope you're in good health. We have Tim Askin, Scotty Link, Drago Tier, and we have Ireland Colin. We have Kian Lafford. Good to see you, friend. Thanks for coming and joining the show. Gutbuster Mike, one of our lovely locals. We love seeing him. Gehan, good to see you, bud. Michael, cool. Guys, thanks for being here in the chat. As you guys know, this is live, unrehearsed, unprepared. We're relatively prepared.
And we mean it.
I'm definitely not prepared.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you've been good, as long as you've been good, Doug, you don't need to be prepared. You're always ready. You know, you can open up a fridge door and there's a spotlight and you're like, I could do 20 minutes with this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like that. So in theme of what we're talking about today is we thought it would be cool to talk about what we have inside our gig bags. Starting off with my gig bag. If you want to get into it, say yes.
Let's do it.
This bag, Mary Poppins looking bag, I got this for $15 about 15 years ago off eBay, right?
Ooh,
everything I need.
This.
I carry this is like my regular sort of bag. In there's a whole heap of crap. We're gonna go through it one by one. I'll talk you through it. The main crux is this thing here. What this is like all my bits. I keep everything in Tupperware containers. Okay. And there's a reason for that. Even all my stage shows are all in large scale Tupperware bags or in storage containers. So that when I got to do a show, I open up a suitcase, I grab the container with all of its bits that pertain to it, throw it in, zip it up, and I catch a flight and I go do my gig. I don't need to think. Everything is prepared and always ready to rock. And that way I don't have to ever worry about going to a gig that something might be missing. Okay. So this thing here, it's like a food container effectively. Okay. With lots of different compartments in it. I have chapstick, naturally. I have some of these little rubber gimmicks, which if you're a part of my lecture, you would know what they're about. I do a type of blown up and broken and restored balloon effect, which is very fun. I have a hearing aid, because what's that behind your ear? And if you find someone really funny to do that to, sometimes you go, what's that behind your ear? And they go, huh? And I speak into it and I'm like, Gavin. And he's like, what? And I'm like, and then I just like pretend to put it back in. I have a slinky, a little slinky, which I love using ever since we met Rick Holcomb. He does a really cool trick with the slinky. And I use it in the context of doing a gravity pass, like a muscle pass. So coin goes up and down and everyone's like, oh, did you not see how it works? It's the spring that makes it go bouncy bounce. And then I give them back the coin and I just finger palm that off and throw it in my
that's killer.
Yeah, it's a really good bit. I have an abundance of coins. I won't get into individually. I've got Chinese coins. I've got Morgan dollars. I've got shells. I've got jumbo coin, jumbo Morgan, naturally. I have a Zippo lighter. Zippo lighters are important. And the reason I do it is that whenever I'm performing, either put it on the table or I have somebody do this and hold out their hand with fingers, and I ask them to hold onto the lighter, typically by the lid, like so. So the Zippo lighter can then just be suspended up. And I just say, hold on to that. Don't freak out about what happens next. I light it up. I then use flash paper to produce a pack of playing cards or produce whatever I want to produce. So it's a very good, strong way to grab the attention as an opener when you're performing from table to table. And that's why I always carry a Zippo lighter.
I do like your commitment to a Zippo lighter. Like, I think you're the only guy I know that rocks one as opposed to just a little Bic one.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered one of those Zippos that light themselves? Like
I have.
Self-lighter?
I have, but then I kind of feel like I don't really know what else I'd use it for other than getting someone to hold it like this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but while they're holding it, you zap.
Yeah. I've also got the other Zippo lighter, which you use to put someone's ring in. You can vanish someone's ring, and then you actually open up the Zippo lighter, and it's inside.
Dig it.
Another very cool effect. Yeah.
I would suggest if you got yourself a green lucite Mylar tipped wand, you don't need fire anymore. They're with you right away.
Okay.
Just
Pro
letting you
tip.
know. Especially if it's Mylar.
Packs of playing cards. 4 decks. I always have 4 decks. Always have 2 red, 2 blue. Reason being is that I can do as many as 4 gigs a day. That's why whenever I'm roving and so forth. So I always have 4 decks plus backups, and away you go. Also on the back of them, so I have like my standard deck, but on the back of them, I make stickers and I put it on every single card. So when I'm performing away, it says follow me on Instagram. They can scan the QR code and just follow me.
Baby, that is fire.
It's just a really good way. I also do effects where the revelation is on my Instagram, and I do this whole bit where it's like, I knew you were going to do that because I wrote it down on my Instagram. Where's your Instagram? Scan the QR code. Then all of a sudden you build your following, and away you go. This is another banger. If I'm going too fast, that's okay. You can slow me down. But paper cream. Paper cream is what bank tellers use to count money. And it's also what I use. It's just like a little putty like this. You put it on your thumb. All right. And then you rub it across the tips of your fingers. So you just rub you do your thumb across your tips of your fingers like this. Once they're all rubbed in, your card work is bulletproof. Your second deals.
Get me some of that paper cream.
You can get it from Amazon. Your second deal's phenomenal. Like, nothing bothers you. I buy this for all my friends who do magic or like magic, but also do like physical labor. So I got friends who are prop builders, for example. So I gift this to my friend Val of Magic Universe, who makes all the props for all the illusionists in town and so forth. As well as even Andy, who's like my myotherapist. You know what I mean? He's a card guy as well. And I give him one of those every now and again. This is called a Secret Servante, made by Sean Goodwin. Is that his name? Sean Goodwin. This is what I used to hold coins in my business. I know I'm sort of showing you what it looks like, but I have his permission for my lectures where I said to him, hey, I love your product. Can I tell people about it so they can buy it? And then at people after lectures, it sits in your jacket like this. There is a magnet. I've just reinforced it with tape. It normally looks prettier than that, I promise. But this goes in your pocket. Like the magnet goes in your pocket, and then it just hangs like in your jacket, underneath your jacket. And then when you want to remove coins, you just push up like this, and it's straight in the finger button.
God damn it! And what?
And then if you want to
get
rid
of,
yeah, if you want to get rid of coins, you do it the exact same way. So I typically will go take all 3 out while I'm chatting to people, and then I start producing. I'm like, oh, that's the first one, which is great. I can split. There's 2, 1 and 2.
Bloody hell, that's good.
And then from here I go, well, there's 1, 2, here's 3. I take it, toss, catch, squeeze, and it slowly starts to appear over there.
I got to take notes of what I'm buying after this episode. Hang on. But what pocket are you putting that in, just for the viewers?
Okay,
is this your the little coin pocket?
Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm going really fast. I just know there's a lot of shit in my bag, man. There's a lot of stuff, and I don't want to take the whole episode about me. So the magnet goes in the pocket, and then this goes on the inside of your jacket. Okay, so it's called a Secret Servante.
Gotcha.
Sean Goodwin. Is it Goodwin? I'm pretty sure it's Goodwin. Sean spelled SEAN.
Oh, it's hanging about here, right? It's like over here somewhere.
I put it in my
the outside pocket is the magnet.
Outside right jacket pocket.
Oh, so it's at the bottom of your jacket.
So the jacket hangs about here, so no one sees this, right?
I see. So it hangs at the hem of your coat at the
It
bottom.
hangs at the hem of your jacket, and then you just reach your hand under, and just by pushing up, you've now got it into finger palm, and that's what and what I like about it most, other than being able to get like things directly in and out of finger palm, I love that it frees up a pocket. I carry 3 coins and a shell in that right there, so that is an absolute banger of what's in that one.
God damn.
Yeah, I have a couple of other gimmicks that I might be releasing, so I can't show you that. And I just got a series of like bobby pins and because you never know, like your jacket might tear or something like that. I got toppets and stuff. But yeah, so that's everything in that container. That was 9 minutes already. Jesus Christ. Moving on to the next one.
People have questions.
Sorry. Yeah.
So for the paper cream, is it any good for coins or is that too much?
It helps with coins. I typically use very large coins to make them easier to work with, but every now and again, depending on humidity, I will rub a little bit on my palms. If I've got to do a routine with $50, there's some routines that I'm trying to upscale to be used with Morgans. But I have an effect that I do with like a coin and a glass. It's a seated parlor effect. The glass that I need for has to be a certain size. Like it's very particular with how this routine works. Yeah, and sometimes you like just using smaller coins. You want to have a little bit more grip. It's not sticky. It's not like an octopalm. It's nothing like that. It's just to give you moisture on your fingers so that you can do second deals and not miss anything. Like it's just, yeah.
Was Lucky Ladybug in that case?
We'll get to that.
That's a different case.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
This case here. Okay. This one.
Right.
Okay. There's more to it. Yeah. Okay. There's a whole bag of shit in there. Caps wallet. All right. I use this to write revelations in and whatever else, and a zip compartment. I normally vanish. If you've seen my videos, I vanish someone's phone. That phone appears inside of this. Okay. Nice. Yeah. I've also got some gimmicks inside of this that I do effects with, where you take a 50 and then you wave your hand over it, it turns into 100, and then from here you can split it into 2 50s.
What?
So that's a cool gimmick of mine. I call that splitting the bill. Lighter fluid, lots of pens, Magnum Sharpies especially. Okay, these are for when I'm doing my stage shows and I've got to write revelations. I have a ring flight. The ring flight I use is the Prop Dog ring flight. I got this for my 30th birthday. I'm 40 now. This has been going for 10 years. It's never let me down. Absolutely amazing. So I love that.
However, he's only performed it 3 times. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Flash paper. All my flash paper is broken up into little pieces in advance. I basically fold it and fold it and fold it and fold it until they're kind of like 1 inch by 1/2 inch. And then I just tear them up all in advance and I roll them into little balls. And then I put those little balls in my pocket. So whenever I want to do a production, I just pull out one little ball from like that. And you can see, and I just put them in a Ziploc bag. And that's what they look like. Yeah.
Nothing sus.
Yeah. Business cards. Well, these ones to write stuff down on. I have, but this is my backup Ladybug by Do Scala in here.
Oh, you got a bag for yours? How nice.
Yeah, I got bags for mine. And I've got lots of pens. I've got heaps. I got a knife, which I always forget whenever I'm flying. I always forget that I have this knife. Cutting open lemons, etc., popping balloons, whatever it might be. Tissues for blowing your nose. Very important. I needed that so bad the other day. And then I got a series of golf balls. So I have a golf ball act working at the Holy Moly. I have a whole bunch. And then I have this crystal one here. You've probably seen this performance on my Instagram. But that's a good one. Right. Now, next container.
Oh, my God. There's more.
All this is on my person when I perform as well. Right. Handkerchief goes in the right pocket. I need that to produce a bottle. So it opens it up and I produce a bottle. So that's why I need that. Ladybug ready to rock, always with it in the top corner, ready for the first load. Okay. as well as lots of little baggies of this, which is all the ladybugs. You need all that. Here is an index, which I'm not going to show. It's one of my best kept secrets. But I have a 52 card index. I'll give you a quick glance. There, that's all you're getting. That's it. That's all you're getting. I don't care. This is an amazing effect. It's called Foiled Again. It's Bizarros. If you are unaware of what this is, I produced the jumbo coin for the kids. The kids fool around with it. They're like, blah, blah, blah. Oh, is there chocolate in there? I'm like, yeah, there's totally chocolate in there. You just got to peel it back and you can have a bit of the chocolate and then you can take it back and give it to the kids. Love this.
I think we have one of those in the cabinet. I haven't looked at it yet. Nice to know what that does.
It's called Foiled. It's called Foiled Again. I have two of these.
Of all the local Vegas magicians who produce products, but I haven't got to all of them yet.
Yeah. So that's called Foil Again by Bizarro.
Yeah.
It's like a $20 gimmick or something. Like it's just the best. Like it's
that bill change you did was also shades of Bizarro, right? His bill breaker would have been the prefatory change.
Yeah, correct. When I created it, I said to him, I go, hey man, is this like yours? And he goes, it's kind of more like a this, but you can use it. And I was like, thank you, Biz. So that was very cool of him to give me that permission. All right. So now there's a whole bunch of random shit that's not too important in here. But I'll just say at a glance, this is a gimmick of mine for a coin and bottle, which I tell at my lectures. I've got a whole bunch of random bits that aren't that important. Gaff cards, gimmicks is all stuff that I teach in my lecture. But the last thing I'll make mention is, Rubik's Cube, flash paper.
What stickers were on that Rubik's Cube just then? Is that a...
Oh, it's a Hijinks Hotel Rubik's Cube. Which is
gotcha.
Some of the
that's
people
cool. They got some.
Yeah, some of the people I work for, they have these ones. They're awful, but they're great in the same sense as well. Like if they were 50 cents, you'd be stoked. I have ears, so you can pull an ear from behind someone. I also
when you were doing the hearing aid gag, I thought silicone ear would be good here too.
Yeah, I've got that. I also have clean underwear. You never know. You just never know. Okay.
Like, you know what's really funny is I also carry spare underwear in my case. Like if I'm traveling, especially, but like I wasn't going to bring it up, but you're very brave to bring it up. And I think it's worth noting. You just never know.
Yeah. This is full disclosure. Again, I bought a backup pen just in case the other day.
What the hell are you guys eating in Australia? Requires. I've never traveled with spare underwear in my gig bag. Maybe I'm just ignorant.
You're just living on the edge.
Three more things.
But you never know if you don't know.
3 more things I want to share. I've got this is the Pokemon doesn't matter. It's just a gift. I keep meds. I always keep meds. In here is it's almost like a first aid kit, but what's inside is sinus meds, rubber gloves, like headache tablets, things of that nature. Sometimes when you're performing, you never know what's going to happen. Gastro pills, the pills I take, they're called Gastro Stop. Just because sometimes you're performing away, you might, and then all of a sudden you're like, I got to use the men's room, and you just flush. That literally happened to me on Friday. And I was just like, okay, it took a couple of gastro pills, and I managed to make it through the gig, no worries. So I actually had 2 gigs that day, so I had to make sure that I don't poop all over my audience. That and some Sudafed, which is a sinus relief pill. As someone mentioned earlier, I sound sick. I am a little under the weather. I think I'm just exhausted, and there's a big change of the weather. But sometimes I do a lot of gigs, a lot of weddings, especially. They're all out of town, and they're all in like country Victoria. So there's lots of like hay bales and outdoor, and the last thing I want to do as an MC at a wedding is be sneezing the whole time and not be able to speak. So I always keep sinus medications for that reason. 2 more things. This, like a lint remover, if you like, especially cat hair or dog hair or whatever else. Sometimes you're doing a gig and you just go through something, your suit gets ruined, and you just want to give it a quick one of these, and then you're all cleaned up again. So I always keep one of these. Like they're from IKEA. They're like $1 each. So always keep one of those in your kit. And the last thing I keep is this is another container. Naturally, this container has all like a bunch of different cards from all the the different people I work for. So like all the different agencies that are in here. So like at a glance, I've got Amigan Entertainment, I've got Top Dog Entertainment, I've got Applause Entertainment, I've got just all the folks that I work for. I have all their cards in there so that when I'm performing, if I'm working for Top Dog, I open it up, I put 5 or 6 cards in my breast pocket. So when someone says, "Can I get a business card?" you just give them that agent's card immediately. Because you obviously want to promote whoever you're. Yeah, so I do that immediately. So that's
another hot tip that I've never heard before. So we're learning today.
Yeah, I mean, like
stack of each one, and that's lovely advice.
Yeah, so it's just, like I got my own cards in there. I've got Amigan, I've got just whoever I'm working for, I just keep little chunks of their cards in this container so it's ready to rock, and just to make sure that I can represent them. So very minor but pro tip-ish. And again, like this is like another gimmick that I use for a trick that I created, and it's empty because I've used all the gimmicks and I got to make more. So there's that is everything you need to know as to what's inside Nick K's gig bag.
I love the sectional Tupperware container. The Tupperware with all the sections. That's a sweet thing.
If you had just showed us a toothbrush as well, we would have seen everything you own, I feel like. Or everything you need to survive in general, let alone a gig, Yeah. But that's great.
Yeah, the other thing
I was expecting some body deodorant at some point. Are you not sharing that part of the? Don't you have something you roll all over your?
Maybe that's before you leave the house. No, so it doesn't technically. And he's like, the episode's only an hour, so I probably won't go into all that.
You put that not sweat stuff on, don't you? Isn't that in the bag?
Correct. Yeah, that's not in the bag. It's all done before the show. So I have a separate bag that if I'm traveling. One thing you always want to make sure you do have is tooth floss, like for flossing. Not only like for oral hygiene, which is what I use it for. You also want to make sure you have it so that it doubles as a sewing kit as well, which I also have in a sewing kit. So if you ever tear your jacket, if you sew it on the inside, they'll never see that, and that thread is stronger than any cotton thread. So you can really, at a pinch, you can really get through that. Because every now, I wouldn't use it for a button. I've got a separate little kit inside of this at the very bottom, which is for if a button falls off my jacket, then I'll just sew up that button again.
Jesus, holy shit! I'm realizing how fast and loose I am when you see my bag in a second.
I've even got there's a very minor kit in here, but like eye drops, things like that, It's all in there. But again, man, like sometimes I'm there all day. I got Band-Aids. And sometimes it's just because like I'm performing and then, the groomsman has a tumble and I'm like, "Come here, dude." And I put a Band-Aid on him. I'm like, "All right, go do your speech now." Like, it's just.
But tell me you make it appear from flash paper first. Like, here's a Band-Aid.
Yeah. Could do.
Well, that was great. Someone said this is the episode I didn't realize I needed. And, sometimes you just need to know what people are rocking in their case. Millions of products available to buy, but, what are guys doing gigs actually bringing with them, All right. Look, dude, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing. And you can take your seat at Magicians Anonymous now. And, if we move along, we also had a message earlier from a past guest of ours who's been on the show. And I mentioned, hey, if you want to be in the episode, just send me a video. So we actually have a sneaky guest appearance from one of our past guests, one of our favorite. We love them all, but especially this guy. So let's hear from our friend.
Hi guys, it's James Brown here, all the way over from the UK. My apologies for leaping into the middle of your Magic Guys podcast, but I thought I'd let you know what was inside my bag. And here's the little beauty. In my bag, I have the classic cards, coins, bits and pieces, elastic bands, because Crazy Man's handcuff is a must, and a little miniature pot of jam. And for those of you who know my work, you'll know why I never go anywhere without it. I also have a double cross Sharpie pen. And mentioning the double cross Sharpie pen, I suppose this would be a good moment to let you all know about my new book, Building Worlds, available from Amazon. That's Building Worlds. It's 9 effects from my working repertoire plus 4 magical essays covering how to practice, my thoughts and feelings about why magic matters, how to make really great deep connections with the people around us. This is 30 years of my life condensed in. So please do go and buy it. And with that, I'll send you back to the boys because they're really worth listening to. So ta-ta for now.
So cool. So cool. You know, James sent us a little sneak peek of his lecture notes last time he was on. And it blew my mind the way you could think about using different types of effects like double cross, for example. His version of double cross is so different of an experience to the audience that someone actually said to him, I saw someone do something where, you know, they just grabbed my hand and did a little thing and there was a thing on it, but that's nothing like, but I've never seen this before. And it's like, it didn't matter that everyone else in this city was doing that same effect. It's anyway, and I believe that is included in this new book he has. So in the link of where you're listening to this or watching this is his book. So do go check it out, support him, and yeah, it's just cool.
Yeah, and what's issue? Sorry, go ahead. I'm going to reference what episode number that was. You go ahead, Doug. I'll dig it up.
No, I just was going to reflect on how enjoyable his visit was when he was here last time, and I really dig the vibe he's going with his magic. Certainly, and as he matures, and highly recommend James. Thought process be in your world. Just digging James Brown lately.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
If you want to see that previous episode, it's on episode 197 with James Brown.
Good one.
And James Brown is the literal reason I actually do magic. I was terrified to meet him because meeting my heroes is one of those things that I'm always scared about. I could not be happier meeting him and being able to call him a friend of the show. It is the greatest. So please support our friend James. I'm getting a copy of that book for show.
Heck yeah.
No doubt.
Nick and I both actively use his box clever routine in most shows. I just used it on the weekend. And yeah, a lot of his effects, right? Coin to eye, coin under watch, card under watch, all the good stuff. So we need to, everyone peer pressure James to come back on the Magic Guys, because that would be great. 1 second, I'm just going to go buy the book. No, all right, should we continue? I would love to show it to my bag. Mine's not as comprehensive, but still, it's what I use. It's what I can get through all my gigs with. And I guess I have different variations of what bag I take with me, because at the Theatre of Magic, I've been really liking using this, similar to the style of Nick's, where it's a flat bottom bag and it opens up. This one looks very nice, but it's so cheap from China that I wouldn't take it anywhere else other than just to sit on a table at a show. But aesthetically, it looks really nice, Okay, so simple stuff. Rubber bands. I personally love doing rubber band magic, and I incorporate it with my stack magic as well with cards. But these are the ones I love using from Penguin Magic. They're size 19 and a half from memory. 19 and a quarter, which is the standard size that can go around your wrist and not be too tight or anything like that. And personally, I like using different colors because if you do a linking rubber band routine, for example, it's pretty cool when they're different colors and they can obviously see that they're different. It's the same band going through, and it's not like you're weirdly wrapping it around or something, making it look like the same band, So I love using them. Then obviously I do have my DC as well. Not used very much, but I do have it since James mentioned it as well. A new addition is this glass has been a bit of fun to play with. I got this from Vanishing Ink, and it's just a glass, but it's a glass that's made to specifically be able to hold a Rubik's Cube. So that if you're doing a matching routine, for example. So
wait. You know what's really funny? Hold it up and with the take the cube out.
The light?
Take it out and then just hold it up. Doug, does it look like it's got googly eyes?
It does.
If I go like this. That's funny, hey? How can I? Is there any other way to play with it?
No, like it's funny.
That's pretty funny.
That
Yeah.
is.
And so I guess the idea is, you could poetically pull this away with a silk with the cube in it, and then after you've had someone mix it up, you can just sit this on top of it on the table. So it's kind of fun, because then it's like implying that the cube is not touched again. And so I was playing with this at the Theatre of Magic on the weekend.
And that's real glass?
Oh, of course.
Oh, I use plastic one.
No, it's it's acrylic.
Okay, it looks great. It looks glass to me. That's really nice, that one.
Right. No, very much plastic, and so you can chuck it in your gig bag and not worry that it'll break.
Did you get that from like a camping store, or did you just happen to find it at like a Kmart or?
No, this is actually from. I think this is actually from Henry Harrius's website.
Great.
I said Vanishing Ink before. Oh my god. Henry Harrius sells it. I guess he probably got it from Kmart, but he recognized that it's hard to find a glass that can fit a Rubik's Cube in. So he it's only like $8 or something.
Yeah.
$50 Australian. But yeah, you can fit a glass in it, and it's a nice image, Is it wide enough for a deck? Let's have a look. I don't know. Yes, it is. It's actually not too bad.
Ooh, I like that. I want that now.
Yeah, look at that's actually pretty cool. And then if you're doing your it'll
The rising card works great in a glass like that as the finish. You put it on a shelf, it rises out of the deck.
Yeah. All right. Bloody hell. There you go, Henry. Just sold you.
No, I'm getting
10,
one of
10
those
them.
for sure.
For anyone,
Gosh.
if anybody's trying to find something a little more locally, I know that like if you look up camping supplies like wine glass camping or picnic or something of that nature, that's where I found mine. I got 4 of them in a single thing. I used one for gimmicking, trying to do this whole like thread thing, but don't worry about it. But you can just get those in like many different types. So yeah, look that up if you need them. Or support our friend Henry.
That's it. I'm sure you can find them everywhere. But I guess if you are buying Rubik's Cube paraphernalia, you can just click, add to cart. Same with the bags. Like the bags that he sells, I just get them because like I'm already there at the site buying the stuff anyway. One of my favorites that we don't see so much mainstream, tiny plunger. I love rocking a tiny plunger because I will take with me what I've found is that if I take a bandana with me, this is more like a silk one, but if you fold this up enough, it basically becomes the soft base you need in order to do this routine. So at a table, I might sit this down saying that, let me just sit this down so my cards don't get wet or destroyed. You never know what's happening at parties. Sit this down and then you can do your routine. Or sometimes like at a lot of events, there's enough of a covering on the table that you can just do it anyway. Now, I'm not doing this all the time, but especially if it's like a private party where there are only like 20 or 30 people and I'm there for a while, this is like a fun bit that it's a routine that goes for a while. And it's like it brings people in. It's really, people love seeing this because it's like not really about the cards. It's great when a card trick has some other anchor to come onto it. Anyway,
I think the bit where you do like the mind reading where you stick it to the forehead, that is so fun.
It's just so funny. And if this is the first time you're ever seeing someone pull out a tiny plunger, and you don't know what this is, look up John Armstrong tiny plunger, or if you're subscribed to me on YouTube, just type in Josh Nobito. I don't know what I've called it. Probably the plunger card trick or something. So the Theatre of Magic, I did that routine, and I'm sure it's documented in there, I think, for at least one video. I keep this with me. This is a velvet cord for ring on string. And I got to say, I don't always use this, but just every now and then someone will say like, can you do magic with something I'm wearing or that I give you? And if they have a ring on, boom, ring on string. It's organic, ready to go. And this cord is like, it's just like a plush velvet that's just perfect for it. It's like soft and looks nice. It's not a shoelace, which I feel for me fits a bit better. you can look up and find. I did purchase this from a magic site, but it's just called Velvet Plush Cord, I think, and you can find it anywhere. And yeah, but you could probably message me and I could probably find where I got this one from. But I keep this in my pants pocket, and then I sit my Bic lighter on top of it. So I always know this is in my pocket, ready to go. And then it also makes it easier for me to grab my lighter at a gig because now it's sitting on top of this. So it's always in there, is the point. And then my coins I keep in a little grandma coin purse. And but now I have to go and get myself the secret Servante. And in here, because in here what I'm mainly keeping is just a couple of our Australian 50-cent coins. And I also keep 2 of these pennies so I can do a transpo, which for me, it feels very much like a card changing in someone's hand. But when you can change a coin in their hand, they love it. And so, yeah, I keep all my coins in this when I'm traveling to a gig. I also have a knife, but mine's not as impressive as Nick's. This is just for when I go to some dangerous areas for gigs, obviously. And keep that locked up like this. I'm just kidding. This is for when I do a routine that I know if I accidentally break it during the show, I can use this to still reveal the thing I need to reveal. My wallet is what's this one called again? The JOL wallet, I think. Uh-huh. And in here, this is mine, and mine's just for cards really, but in here is where I'll actually keep my Lucky Ladybug cards as well. Similar setup, but I just keep mine in here just in case there is someone with a kid with them, or like it's just a nice moment to use it.
I love that style wallet, the JOL that loads from the outside, no slide. That load is smooth as butter. That's
really worth noting too. Yeah, it's no setup. You don't have to go in and do a thing, and it's just boom, ready to go. It's great for when you're just in the trenches, you know. I guess in here is where I also keep my loops. So my loops are always in my wallet as well, ready to go. Not that I'll use it all the time, but I have been having fun doing like a named card coming out of the deck, haunted style, again, just with stack work. So they name a card and then that's what, floats out. And then last...
You ever use a plunger with that? Do you integrate the plunger into name a card ever?
I haven't yet, but I love that. Yeah, but I haven't yet.
So the plunger's its own routine for you. It's a standalone.
Yeah, I would say I haven't workshopped it enough to change it enough to be fitting stack work. But it's because what it is so, and this leads into perfectly. So when it comes to decks of cards, I'll have 2 decks with me, a red and a blue deck, and I will have them in the arrangement that I prefer, both of them, so that eventually one of them will get shuffled by the audience eventually, and then I'll go into all of that material that's with a shuffled deck, and that's normally when at some point I'll bust out the plunger if I'm going to. And then I also keep a double blank deck with me as well for the double blank ambitious, where you just have them sign it, and then you're just doing magic with their signature. And these cards are also really good for doing billet work, because if you have someone write info down on this, fold it up, it's great for peeking that. And also you just do so much stuff with it. You can do most card tricks with a blank deck, because the cards that need to be seen, you can just write the info on it. Or you can use this for doing, I know my buddy Adam Axford will do a drawing duplication that uses a method that this would be great for too. So this stays in one of my extra pockets at gigs. And the last 2 things are, I always keep an ice cream with me.
Nice.
That's always just so fun to catch people off guard. And if I'm at the Theatre of Magic, I'll just keep one of these with me, which looks like a deck, but it's really a box. It's a deck box. It's a coin in a box. And these are from Jeffrey Wang. If I had $1 for every person that messaged me about where did I get the box from, I would be able to retire, honestly. I think that's it, friends. That's yeah. I don't have any chapsticks or. I mean, I honestly do travel with underwear and like an extra like shirt or whatever, but it's just not in here. But that's essentially my TED Talk.
Very civil. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and just a little shout out. I did get this. I'm going to start playing with this. For when you borrow a bill from someone, you can play the harmonica with it. So that's, I'm just showing it because I only just got it. So I'm not going to try and use it now.
Yeah.
And it's not electronic either, which is fun.
No, really?
Yeah. It's a manual. It's a gimmick. So it's sleight of hand basically. And then it lets you play the harmonica and then give the note back or then use it for routine. Or a business card I mean, you can do it with anything, but the idea is you hold up an object that they've given you, you play the harmonica, you give it back. Yeah.
You got to show me that afterwards because I'm using the one from, I think, N2G, which is a electronic based one. And so
nice. That's great.
Yeah.
I want one of them too. But yeah, this,
Me too.
you know, it's always fun when you can not rely on tech, you know.
Yeah. Look, can we take a quick break before we press on to Doug because we've got a couple of questions for you, Josh. First one from Alex Lamb. I'm not sure what this pertains to, but.
The knife.
All right. Okay.
The beaming line is,
a rough line.
Bogan Central, yeah.
What does this mean? Does it still have a smell?
Does it still have its smell? What, the underpants or the...
The box?
The box?
The ice cream. They smell like chocolate when you get them. You got the Deuce Gala. Man, we're plugging the Deuce Gala today with the ladybugs and the popsticles.
You know, I think because I've had this out of its case for a little while, it doesn't. But the orange one I have still does have its smell. But yeah. Good question though.
Gown said, "What do you write on with your Sharpie's giant notepad ? I use a foam board." A4 size foam board. And what I do is I print my logo and then basically sticky it to the back so that whenever I'm writing something on stage, I'm holding up my branding. So while I'm writing, you can see my branding. So that's what
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's all we need. It's all we need, right? All right. Look, I want to know what Doug's choosing because the thing with Doug is, I know you're doing you don't have to do as many gigs as Nick and I do, and you can pick and choose a little bit. And also in your busking style, obviously you need to account for a million other things.
What I've also realized is that I've come from like the roving aspect. You've come from the parlor aspect. And then we've got Doug performing like in this the more stage / street aspect. So this is going to be really interesting to see the dynamic between the three of us.
Yeah, 100%. Doug, can we see what's in your case?
I just banged my microphone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Yeah, I think we can hear you better, actually.
I want to talk about the case itself, which, is there a Magic Guy sticker here?
Oh, yeah, we got one.
Right there. Yeah, I see it.
Nice. Yeah, it's back on the other side.
This for me allows me to do close-up parlor, stage, anything you want. The whole show is in here. It's on wheels, which is great. You know, anytime you could put things on wheels, and it's got the extendable handle. And this bag also has outside pockets. So there's like a pocket here, and like in the front there's one. Like I keep my rope up here, for example. And what this does is it makes the props instantly accessible compartmentally, from if you're working a stage and you need your rope, it's right in the front. It can go back in there when you're done. So highly advocate the catalog case. I've been using these for 30 years. And the inside of these are really well compartmented. My close-up case is in here.
Wow.
I'll pop into this if you want. But like there's my wands and my Sharpies and another bag where I keep thumb tips and sponge balls. And then like I do a ring routine. There's dividers in here where the rings are kept
That's
separate.
so great. Yeah.
This is the Martin Lewis 1 to 6 spot card. You can do this for 1,000 people. I can do the rings for 1,000 people. I can do the ropes for 1,000 people. So if I need to entertain 1,000 people for 20 minutes, this bag allows me to do that. I can do all of those routines close up or parlor as well. I generally have a hat in here and some signage if I'm busking as well. And you know what's missing from my bag today is my, I'll call it a toiletry bag where you have the sunscreen and the nail clippers and the sewing. And, you know, we went to the pool today and my sunscreen was in there, so I pulled the bag out. But yeah, advocate the catalog case on wheels. As I'm rambling, I'll note that this case allows me to transport that DJ laptop stand. I use bungee cords and strap it to it. So now I'm rolling into the gig hall with a table and enough to entertain 5 people or 1,000.
I was just looking at that case. I bet you could fit an in-stand in that case as well because they're so thin.
Right. I'll tell you what I used to put in there. I've upgraded since, but a small amplifier. When I was using just like a happy amp situation, you could have the whole 9 yards in that catalog case. You know, the amplification, and then if you're able to carry a table in with you, it's a one trip in and out, which, you know, is important if you're working a lot of the, you know, these convention halls and stuff. You don't want to be making 2 trips to the car to load in.
Yeah, the catalog case. I don't know why.
Amazing.
That's great.
I've just been looking it up whilst you mentioned it, and what a great solution in like almost every way. Like, can you leave the like when you have that on stage? Can you kind of leave it open? Like can you leave the mouth of this open like this? The reason I asked
very much so. Yeah, it generally stays open. And when Josh busted his case out, I'm like, I'm in the same ballpark. But you know, this case, it's been around the French Quarter a couple dozen times, and if you, that you get a good one that holds up, you know.
Yeah,
they were designed for guys back in the day. They used to have to carry catalogs to sell their products, so they needed a good sturdy solution for transporting these heavy things.
Damn, that's good.
It is not a cheap bag for the folks out there looking at it.
Yeah,
the cheapest
one
I
probably
could find,
$150 on that one. You know.
Yeah. So, and that's probably $300 Aussie, which is what I'm looking at about here. But it is. Look, when it's making you money every weekend, it's a great solution. I'm actually really tempted to go and do that myself because
I'll tell you, I've seen them in secondhand stores. So if you get to the Goodwill and stuff like that, you might have some luck over there finding a nice bag at a good price because people don't use them anymore, but they do have value to, you know, magicians.
And I think, yeah, and I love the idea of just being able to, like, because once the handle goes down, it's so unnoticeable. Like, you don't even think there's a thing in there. And I love that, especially. But for me, also, what the big selling point is being able to leave the mouth open, like to leave this bit open, because I do stuff in my act and then I roll it up and I just throw it into the bag and then I move on. And then when it comes time to get off stage, I close the bag, grab my crap, and I'm off. So you can carry that traditionally, like this doctor's bag, and wheel it around.
Yeah, easy peasy on both accounts. Yeah,
that's great.
So this is the close-up case that I keep inside there. This is the TCC close-up case. I don't know how much of this y'all want to get into. You know, the players, if I'm doing walk-around magic, I'm doing sponge bunnies, I'm doing 8-ball production, card to wallet. I use the Real Man Speed Loader Plus. This is a Tony Miller design is what I go with. It's a hip pocket front loader. And no slide either. It's an interesting flap design. You know, half a dozen decks. I got a couple gimmick ones, Brainwave, Unshuffled. I've got a set of color changing knives here. I've been really enjoying performing that. And then up here, I've got Slidini silks. There's my ears. I got some backup Sharpie markers, thumb tip and silk. That's a JL magic wand. This is great for working walk around if I'm not using the street wand. And yeah, that's about it. You know, sponge bunnies, card tricks. I always have coins with me. And here's what I do for coins. I use different size and or colored purses. So I can feel by color or sight which coin routines are in my pocket as needed, and, you know, not have to open a purse and dig through a different one, you know, to get a different coin thing.
That's really
Any
cool.
questions on that? It's kind of quick, but, you know, I feel like we've seen enough tricks today.
Where's your
Someone
underwear?
I know.
Someone
I've
asked,
been missing
yeah.
the underwear. I'll have to put that in the toiletry bag with the sunscreen.
Someone
No
said
one
you could
mentioned a
fit.
towel. Always have a towel with you, at least a hand towel for mopping sweat, or maybe a spill happens. And no one said that. I don't go anywhere without throwing a towel in my bag before I leave.
I actually have something a little more discreet. I have a napkin, like a cloth napkin. So it looks almost like it could be used for whatever else. Like it could be used for a silk production or this or that. But it's not quite as abrasive as like a towel.
Well, I'll tell you what I use as a washcloth, and I use it in my back pocket. And what that does is elevate the 8-ball so that when I do the steel out of my back pocket, so now I have this washcloth serviceable in my back pocket as needed. If I need to do a little touch up if I'm sweaty, and then it serves as an elevator for the 8-ball steel.
Yeah, that's great.
It makes a lot of sense. And then now that you're in the shop all the time, like, are you seeing stuff in there and you're like, oh, it would be good to have, but, we're limited with pocket space, So, like, are you seeing stuff that are almost maybe making it into your set instead of something else? Or
Yeah, it's like every day I see something new I want to put into the wrap. I think the most recent thing, the one that's really going to make it, is the ox bender, the coin bender.
Really?
You guys use one of those? Anyone use the ox bender?
No.
I bought the Ox Bender at Magic Live and never used it, but I do own David Penn's Coinvexed, and I do think it's fantastic. I still have it, and it's so good. It just doesn't fit my character anymore. It makes no sense for like a sleight of hand character to then mentally bend a coin. So for me, I've just made the choice to not use it anymore, but I have it and I recommend it. And the Ox Bender, when I saw it demmed for American coins, like pennies and stuff, it just seemed like amazing to use. But like, have you done coin? Yeah, have you done coin bending routines? And if you have, what is the audience's response when you do it? They've seen you do knuckle busting magic, and then what happens when you bend a coin?
Honestly, I have not. I'll tell you what turned me on to it. I was watching the Firefly tutorial last week, and they suggest integrating that, and maybe even with the smoke gimmick. And I don't know if you need to do all that, but the host of the tutorial, his enthusiasm for the ox bender had me look in that direction, and I took one home and played with it. And it's not a cheap buy, so I'm just going to demo it at the shop till I like it enough. And then when I got my routine down, I'm going to buy one. Get back with me in a couple of weeks after I've had some reps with the thing.
You know what I never ended up using? Nick, the year that we went to Magic Live, when I was there as well, 2018, the big hype at the time was a signed bill to Sharpie effect. Yeah, and you got the whole gimmick that basically the note vanishes and almost goes straight into the pen for you. Like, it was a really cool utility.
Yeah,
I've not used it a single time. I still have the box, and I was so hyped when I saw it, and I've not seen anyone performing it. And I haven't used it. Is that the same for you? Did you play around with it?
I was working on an effect with it entirely, where because I do this whole, like, the old traditional, the coin and pen effect where you do this type of thing and you put it behind your ear. Like, I actually do that in my roving set, but it's a whole thing and then I produce like a jumbo coin and a jumbo pen at the end of it. And I was like, it'd be so cool if you could like ask someone for a bill and then just like strike vanish the bill, and that bill. That's what I was going for with it. It is just so. I think the problem is that it's difficult with Australian currency because we have the polymer plasticky stuff. Yeah. I think that was what made it difficult for me.
The thought of in real time, because at home when we're folding the bill, yes, you can get it in the thing easily, but you're right. Like, in the heat of the moment, would it get stuck when you're trying to do the last little load bit? With our money, but even in America, like, I haven't seen any clips going online of dudes doing it with US notes even. I know Nicholas Einhorn bought out his own version, which I feel like might be more of a workable
I've heard
real-world
that's a good
method,
one.
but yeah.
It might also be because we are, after COVID, leaning into that cashless society and getting a hand on a bill is quite difficult at times. But there's probably a myriad of reasons why it's not as popular as it used to be. But
it's just interesting. Like I bought it with all these intentions of yes, I'm going to do an effect that no one's seeing being done. And then I think for me, what it was is the gimmick is just too chunky of a thing to add to my suit and stuff.
Yeah. It's probably actually Alex makes a good point that it could be a good idea to talk about things called the junk drawer, in which we've gone,
boy.
I'm going to get my hands on this. I'm going to do stuff with it. And then you never do a damn thing. It might be worth, it might be worth
one thing I wanted to touch on today is the bag that I keep in my car. It's an emergency bag that has rope, a set of Professor's Nightmare, 2 sponge balls, a deck of cards, and a big coin in it.
Wow,
so now I'm ready to do a show anytime, anywhere that my car is close by. Forget your bag, no problem. You're at a bar, you need to do a set, no problem. You had a gathering, ready to go.
Yeah. Like a go bag.
Emergency magic show. It's in my glove compartment. It takes up this much space. And, if you're a magician, then you should be ready to do a show anytime, is my thought.
Yeah, and that's great. Oh,
yeah.
A go bag.
Seth says that he keeps Altoids
there you go.
in my car with the close-up set ready to go in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do keep a deck, like a good deck ready to perform, like a full deck. It just sits in the side door of my car, but it's really just, I don't know, for safety or if I'm bored.
The wife talked me into one of these man purses. And this for carrying around magic stuff has been great. You get your cards, coins. I got a thumb tip in here, a Sharpie, and then you can also put your weed in here in Las Vegas, and it's all discreet. But no, for me, as opposed to carrying around everything in your pockets, the cards, and it gets bulky, and if it's hot, it's doubly a problem. And so this is a good solution too if you're a magician, a man purse, a merce.
Immerse.
Satchel. Isn't it a satchel? Indiana Jones has one.
Do you guys use the merce?
No.
Either of you sport in a bag?
Not personally.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Josh, because I carry as little as possible. Like for me, it's just I have my phone. Like even the keys to my house, it's all digital. I don't have car keys because I have a Tesla. It's literally that's my car keys, that's my house keys. Everything I need is just here.
I don't rock a merce. Even at a gig, like I've talked about this a billion times, but my Rubik's Cube that I'll do a Rubik's Cube routine in roving, and I'll carry the cheap one, which is I sat it down somewhere already. Oh yeah, this one. So we've talked about these. I found these. They're 50 cents each at the store I found them at in Australia. But I will not even keep this on me. I'll sit it down on a cocktail table at the gig, and I'll just eventually come to it and then do magic. So I try to not have like bulky stuff on me, but I love the idea of it. And I know like my friend Adam Axford, our friend, he'll rock like the gun holster type thing where he's got like the thing on under his jacket with the holster so he can put stuff in those pockets too. What about you, Nick? You said you try to have as little as possible. I don't carry a thing, man. Like when I'm day to day, like if someone says like, show me something, I'll be like if I'm at a cafe, I'm like, can you give me just 3 coins? Give me 3 coins from the counter. And I'll do something. Like, sure, okay, just bring me something, bring me stuff. And I'll just do like, that's what I'm like. It'd be a good idea. Maybe this has been done already, but has anyone made a top hat that you can just take off and it has all your stuff, your roving stuff in it, because it has like individual sections inside it that are pockets, maybe? I wonder
that's a great idea.
Anyone's thought of that. That's kind of fun.
See, I will carry stuff in my jacket pocket at most, like because I'll have like my I put a deck in my breast pocket because that's how I got into magic. I used to have cigarettes in there. And so instead of having cigarettes, I purposely keep packs of playing cards where my cigarettes used to go as a little reminder of like, that's where you came from. You don't know where you're going.
So good. Look, and what's cool is like every bag we've just gone through is different. So there isn't like any one right way to, Alex has said, why is this guy's head shaped like a Rubik's Cube? Oh, because you're putting it in the hat. Well, it's not going in this kind of hat. Like I'm not doing like, this kind of thing, which, you could almost rock, but it's not really, it's kind of floating pretty lightly there. But actually that would be an effect on its own, to reach inside and pull out what they think is an actual Rubik's Cube. It's kind of fun. So many options, so many, So what I've learned is I need to go and buy a catalog bag, a tub of paper cream, a secret Servante, another pair of underpants, a toilet paper roll to fit in my bag. Someone mentioned earlier. Why didn't we think of that?
I use the tissue. I have those little travel tissue numbers.
The only thing I didn't mention is I carry with me Michael Amar's ceiling card to ceiling wax. But the way I keep it is I just take a playing card, like one of the advertising cards from the deck that I've opened. I tear it in half, and then that is what I stick a ball of wax onto. Oh. And then I close it, and I just put a rubber band around the middle, and that's just, if I don't already preload this, if I walk in the gig and I see it's got a good ceiling, which I did on the weekend, and then when I know I'm going to do the routine, like while they're signing the card and I turn around, I will just grab the wax out and stick it on my belt buckle, and then I can easily grab it later. But if I need to, the rubber band is there so I can say, like I can just build it up. Like in the way that Michael Amar says he has his box of secrets, I'll just pull this and be like, do you know what this is? And they're like, no. And I'm like, this is a high-tech tension dispenser. And I give it to them, and now I can just grab that off. So instead of taking the whole tub, I will just put 2 balls of wax on a torn card. Now we have a use for our advertising cards, and I know if you're listening to this, which most of our listeners do, that sounds weird, but you can watch the video. It's basically a ball of the Michael Amar wax stuck onto a card. And that takes up no space now. It just goes in my left outside jacket pocket. I
like it.
And we're good to go.
Great trick. That trick's killer.
Yeah.
It's killer. It lives on. It's a frozen moment in Magic. Always make sure you have a high enough ceiling, obviously. But
cool. Well, It's been an hour, friends. We've had a quick chat. Oh, Gary. Gary's just cuts. Where can I purchase paper cream? Amazon. That is the only place I've been able to get it from. It might be sold. I was trying to get some recently. I think it might have sold out, or someone was complaining to me that didn't have a lot. Buy it in bulk, man. Seriously. And what's really funny is that, like, out of all my friends, they're like, you're the only guy I know who gets to the bottom of it. Like, generally to the bottom of it. Where I'm like scraping the sides of it like this. So like, because I use it every gig. And so they're just like, you're the only person I know. Like, they always lose them and then just grab a fresh one. But they're like, you're the only guy I know who's ever gotten to the bottom of it like several times. So nice. Yeah, Gary Davidson just said out of stock. But yeah, look, keep your eyes on that stuff. There is some other stuff out there. I know my friends have tried it. They've all been like deeply disappointed. My advice, just write it out. But guys, as we come to a close, thank you all for listening. I hope this was of some value to you guys. We have no idea what we're going to talk about next week, although it might be fun to go through a whole bunch of stuff and go the junk drawer as the things that we thought were going to be exciting and then go, never did it. And then actually, it might be a good idea because there's probably stuff that I bought 10 years ago and gone, nah. And maybe it's like, maybe now's the time. It's been 10 years. So
yeah. You know what? Let's put out a preempt here. Let's include some gig stories next week from you guys. Send in a speak pipe. I'm letting you know a week in advance, okay? So you don't have to send them in during the episode like some people do, and I can't screen them. Send in your speak pipe. Speakpipe.com/The Magic Guys, or just go to our website, themagicguyshow.com, and there's a button you can send your voicemail. Let us know some crazy gig stories you've been up to. We'd love to play them, and maybe we'll do that as well next week. This has been a great episode. Also, check out James Brown's book on Amazon. The link is in the description, and we'll see y'all next week. And I got to play our outro video. Let me try that again. Sorry. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. It's time for us to disappear now. But we'll see you again on the next episode of The Magic Guys.